What is going on, guys? My name is cosmovsgoku, and once again I am joined by
TwstdFlaems.
It is time for the episode 3 episode commentary
Of episodeness.
And it is the Lee versus Gaara episode. This was an episode when we were building up to release that I was so super excited for. Because I knew that if we got Lee versus Gaara right as a battle, we'd have nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
But we had to get that right. Mm-hmm. And I think we did. And we toyed a lot with speeding up footage in this episode with the fight.
Very much so.
Lee versus Gaara in the original looks fast. But when you...
slow as balls.
Yeah. But, and then when you watch ours, it's like, oh yeah, that's really well paced. And then you watch them side by side, like, oh, the original is slow.
Oh yeah.
That's not us shitting on the original. It's
That's just how Naruto is. Naruto is a very slow series.
It is.
And somehow still ended up with 2 years of fill of it.
Hey, look, you know, studio payroll going to studio payroll. I'm a big fan of this episode. I like that we reordered the fights.
Yeah.
Because look, putting Dosu versus Choji last is such a wet blanket ending that it doesn't it doesn't get any bigger than Lee versus Gaara.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you end it with Lee versus Gaara? And that's what we did, and that's why we ordered the episode the way we did.
Yeah. 100%.
This episode also features the return of Irika.
Yes.
And
you originally wanted to kill off.
Yep. And this is also, for those that didn't see episode 2's episode commentary, go check that out, then come back and watch this, because a lot of what we spoke about there will have connecting thoughts to this commentary.
Yes.
But this is the second half of what was episode 2's script.
Yes.
So episode 2 came to a very natural conclusion. But we still had half the script left, which is the Chuunin Exam Prelims. Mm-hmm. And we found that we could make this episode have a distinct beginning, middle, and end, and tell a full, complete story in about 15 minutes. So that's how we got to here.
Exactly.
Alrighty. So I guess it's time to start Naruto Full Arc Abridged, episode 3, episode commentary, the Chuunin Exam Preliminaries Abridged.
Yarp.
Oh yeah, I forgot to do that.
Yeah. Video.
The following is a non-profit fan-based...
The first of 3 consecutive episodes where characters played by Chris Dowling do the intro.
Oh.
Yeah, this episode 4, has Neji, and episode 5 has Hiruzen.
There we are.
Please support the
just by chance.
Release. Well, this is great. There's nothing here.
Our first ever attempt at changing the footage.
Yeah.
I never learned how to read. I work much better with coloring books. Maybe there's a clue in the scrolls.
Yeet.
Yeet was a contribution by Pythonixx.
That's right. It's me. You're alive. We all thought you were dead.
And tying into what we were saying before.
Nobody ever dies from traumatic injuries.
My entire family did, Erika.
Shut up, Sasuke. The entire clan orphans are talking.
So we also changed the opening to be bordered just because it helped it pop a lot more and helped it look a little bit more in line with what we were looking to do. You know, looking back at this, I appreciate why it is that, but I almost wish it was the seal of reconciliation.
Yeah.
That became so prevalent later in the series.
We will now engage in a series of battles where you...
I'm pulling out.
Oh, you would.
My name is Hayate Gecko. I will be the referee for these contests, which will now be a series of 1-on-1 contest, because someone pulled out on the basis of being a pussy.
Do you want to talk about Hayate Gecko?
Hayate Gecko and Genma were literally, it was the case of these characters. Like this is a theme that I do whenever I voice random characters. I did the same thing with the Biki, and I do the same thing here, where I just do something silly. And this is obviously like a very vague and like very inaccurate nod to like Patrick Warburton and Cusco.
Yep.
Not Cusco,
Kronk.
Oh yeah, the poison for Cusco.
Yeah.
That style of voice. Obviously I like handed up with the, oh yeah, let's get way into this.
Yeah.
As opposed to doing the more, oh yeah, it's all coming together.
Yeah.
Like the deeper voice. So I just kept it a bit more light. But yeah, it was one of those things where these two have the exact same voice because there was no reason to kill him off.
There really wasn't.
It served nothing. And it was just like, they didn't acknowledge his death. They just replaced him.
Yeah.
And as a result, it's like, cool, we've got two very, very similar dudes. And we've replaced one of them with just, as opposed to a coughing fit constantly, it's chewing on a stick.
Yeah.
That's the difference between the two characters.
Yeah.
It's like...
I forgot about the
boring.
coughing thing.
Yeah, it's just because, yeah, he's obviously quite sickly.
Yeah.
And it's just the whole... constantly, but we just decided not to bother with that.
And also, what else are we going to do with that?
Yeah, because I think the only thing you can do is pretty much have him coughing and interrupting people.
And also, considering this episode released in 2020, making light of people coughing would not have...
Yeah, but even then, it
well.
wasn't part of the script. So
Yeah.
it's not like we had that planned and then went, oh, this is a bit of a hot topic at the moment.
yeah, especially because this released before the world went to shit properly.
Did it? When did this come out?
It released on the 10th of March 2020.
Oh, yeah, okay, so like literally.
Yeah.
I think that was like the day of or the day before
we
went home from work and never went back.
It was the day before... So it was the day before COVID was declared a global pandemic by the World Health Organization. And it was... So the Monday was a public holiday for us. Tuesday... No, I was back at work on the Wednesday, which would have been the 10th. So the release date of this, and then the 11th, it was my last day in the office for 2 years.
So that means I was already at home.
Yeah.
I've been home. I had been home since the 2nd, I think.
Yeah, you must have been, because you and I weren't in the office together again.
Yeah, because I had a birthday dinner on the 7th, I think.
No, you didn't. Well, you might have actually.
I know. I had a birthday dinner, I'm pretty sure, on the Saturday night.
Oh, right after my wedding.
Was your wedding that Saturday?
Mm-hmm.
The 7th?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, then it must have been the weekend before.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, surely you didn't.
Yeah, I must...
Your
yeah.
social battery isn't that big.
No. Yeah, so the 29th I had a birthday dinner, and that was
Yeah.
the last birthday dinner for anyone in my family until my birthday, like 8 months later.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just how it worked out. But yeah, no, I was just trying to remember. Yeah, so I'd already been home for a week at the point that this episode came out. Because my department was the easiest ones to move to working from home.
Yeah.
To trial it, and I remember we got this complete tangent for us when we used to work together. We were told, yeah, this will be like 2 weeks, and then we'll be back in the office.
Yeah, 2 weeks. Yeah, okay.
2 years later.
Yeah, even then. But yeah, people haven't tuned in to watch us bitch about lockdowns. They've tuned in for episode commentary. But I absolutely agree. There's nothing else different we could have done. So we just leaned into the Patrick Warburton thing. And then this is something I had completely forgotten about. I was originally going to play Genma Shiranui.
Yeah.
Doing my own version of,
Yeah, and
What
then
are you gonna do?
then we just decided to give it to me.
because
was
it sounded like shit when I did it as well.
But also it was a case of, well, what's the point in having different voices?
I think I also may have forgotten that I had already recorded it when you did it.
Yeah.
Because I've got both recordings there, so I don't know why I would have done it if you were already doing it.
Yeah, I think you're right. The original plan was for you to voice him, and then it was just a case of, fuck it.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's a little bit of backstory on Hayate Genma. Hayate Gecko and Genma Shiranui.
I was originally going to voice him very differently as well.
Real? I don't remember
Yes. No, you should. I know you wouldn't because you weren't up to that point in the series yet. I was going to voice him as Gecko Moria.
Oh, okay.
I was going to go down the full sort of voice.
Yeah,
that.
okay. Yeah, I like
But I couldn't do a very good English version of that voice. So that's when I went with that one because I was going to do silly voice regardless. And
Yeah.
just went with that.
It was going to be dumb.
Yeah.
In a good, not to insult anything you're doing, but it would have been a dumb voice.
Yeah, exactly.
For a dumb character.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah, some backstory.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's all coming together.
Runners of these battles will now go on to the finals, who will take place in 1 month from today.
Exactly 1 month after this episode released, that episode released.
Ah.
So that's something we do. Whenever we or try to do. Like, obviously, things are a bit shit now while we're fighting copyright at the time of recording this. But when...
Really date this video.
Yeah, it's the 18th of February today.
It is. Yeah.
You guys are probably watching this in June or July. So when we say we get shit recorded early in advance, yeah, we do. When a character specifies a unit of measurement in terms of time, that length of time will generally pass.
Yes.
So there's I'll mention it again because I'm sure I'll forget about it. But in episode 0 of Shippuden, a character says, give it a second now. And that gap of silence is exactly 1 second. In this case, 1 month from today, 1 month later, the Chuunin Exam Finals premiered.
There's a movie that does that. I can't remember what... It's a tangent that I'm never going to be able to resolve. But
Suicide Squad does it.
No, it's
James Gunn's.
It's a different movie because I remember that CinemaSins did it.
Okay.
Where there was a countdown and they kept cutting back to the countdown and they're like, oh, that's exactly right. Oh. Yeah.
Interesting.
I can't remember what movie it was, but yeah, like it was something that CinemaSins did that they would try to, like, because they do that whole thing. It's like, oh, you said it was a 5-minute countdown. It's been 7 minutes. They do that. Yeah, you did a 20-minute countdown. It's been 7 minutes. It's now at 13 minutes. Oh. What?
Well, it's like the whole 5 minutes on Namek thing was 12 episodes, which is actually 300 minutes.
17 episodes.
Really? I thought it was
17.
Okay, I stand corrected.
Yeah. If I'm wrong, tell me. But I'm 99% sure that it is 17 episodes because I made a huge deal out of it back when I was doing Anime Ball Z.
Okay. Wow, you talked about Anime Ball Z on this channel. You never talk about ABZ on this channel.
Nah.
There you go.
Shit.
Pardon?
That's my previous life.
Yeah. Oh boy. Upcoming is upcoming is a suggestion you made, which I pushed back on.
Yeah, you did.
I pushed back on it because I was very much the episode is locked. We're not touching it, and this started the process of okay, maybe we can change episodes as we go along. So this was actually the best suggestion you made up until this point in time because it completely changed how we approach episode creation after this.
Oh yeah.
That hickey you got from that creepy guy in the Forest of Death looks like it's causing you great pain. I just don't think it's a good idea for you to battle right now. I'm pulling you out.
Don't you dare!
Sakura, I will never pull out.
Huh?
Naruto, I also wish to fight you.
What did I do to deserve
It's the only suggestion I've ever made that involves Boruto.
Yeah.
Boy behind me. This will determine the matchups, which will be decided when one ninja gains a decisive blow on the opposing ninja. Introducing first.
So the divisive blow, that was a way to cut down the fights. Yeah. Basically, they'd get one punch in. Okay, fight's over. And then we never actually stuck to that because of Lee versus Gaara.
Also, now I reckon you would change the text on the screen.
Yes. Oh, that was going to be my next point. At the time, I toyed with it, but I couldn't get it to work the way I wanted it to do because I wasn't experienced enough with editing. Now I know how I would do that, and it would say stupid shit like, your boy, which was, of course, a reference to...
Versus, and then a bottle of ketchup.
Yeah. Your boy...
Your boy Guzma.
Yeah, that's it. Yep. Thank you. And, of course, we use the Team Skull music here as well.
Yeah.
Sasuke Uchiha versus your boy, Gato.
There we go.
Opponents.
I don't know why we did that. No. This is what we were talking about last episode, about...
Orochimaru just being Orochimaru without the makeup.
Yeah.
What's Orochimaru
and then Guy calling it out.
Who's that other, like, Jonin?
I don't know. I'll put his name on the screen now.
That way we probably won't have to do work for free.
And that's the another hangover of Kakashi never doing work for free, that sort of thing. Also, this is just so sparsely populated. There's no need for it to be this big.
No.
And the more I look at it, the more I do wish that was a sealed reconciliation. it makes more sense thematically. But I get why it is what it is, but yeah.
Ring the bell.
And the ring the bell stuff.
Yeah.
That was like an ad-lib thing I did.
Ring the bell! You can tell by listening to the sound effects we hadn't gotten the first seal sound effect yet.
Yeah.
I think it's the only time we had to do it that way. After that we had it.
Ring the bell.
Ring the bell.
This match. Sasuke Uchiha.
So that's the power of the Uchiha clan? must cultivate it with my own cells.
The beginning of these characters being very horny.
I'm going to
Yes.
take off your shirt and I'm going to seal that curse.
Which is the theme.
Yeah.
Take off my shirt for you to
And also making a huge commentary in this dialogue about people depicting these characters in hentai.
Yes.
I am 12 years old, Kakashi. 12
Sasuke's mouth isn't moving. That annoys me.
And the internet does not care.
It's Kakashi's.
Listen up, internet.
Now the chance.
The second match is between Shino Abarabe and Zaku Abumi. Ring the bell.
And we skip away.
Yeah. Of course, Full Metal Alchemist music. A throwback to our previous work.
That's so weird, like how that works.
Yeah,
You never see anything like that again in the series.
exactly. I don't, it's just a transmutation circle.
Meet again, little Kakashi.
And yeah, this is the only scene they share together in the entire manga.
I don't think we have met before.
I think. I'm like 95% sure.
Didn't you hear, Orochimaru? I'm clairvoyant.
Bitch.
To fight you is meaningless, little Kakashi. Little Sasuke will come to me in time, for he has promised to call me Daddy.
I cannot.
And then we put the joke to bed.
Puppet, you can be honest with me. Besides, you will seek me out to attain the power necessary to...
Man, my throat was so sore recording that Orochimaru
Where
dialogue.
have you been? Where's Sasuke?
Also, it doesn't report that Orochimaru.
Yes!
Nothing important. Oh shit, bro, shit.
And that was how we got around all those fights. Like, compression of time is something... it's something we do really well in Digimon, actually. And I'll
Also, the bro shit line.
improv.
I love that.
You punched me in the boob!
That was an improv by ShyGhost as well. You punch me in the boob. I think her and Pythonixx were watching Scott Pilgrim, and she just messaged me, I have to do this line!
Cross
You're
counter.
getting in the way. Well, now you're just trying to copy me. Ninja art, mind transfer jutsu!
The fact that this
I,
works.
Sakura
Yeah.
Haruno, daughter of Kizashi and Mabuki Haruno, member of Team 7 and representative of Konoha, so...
I like that we referenced her parents by
Yeah.
name. It goes back to what we said before about being able to include elements we couldn't
I do not
include otherwise.
Let's finish this!
Wait till the fight's finished. I'm gonna say something's gonna piss off ShyGhost.
I'm still gonna marry Sasuke before you. Fuck you, bro.
I just remembered an entire bit that, like, Impolite would say during that bit.
Yeah, I love coming out of the flashback. I know exactly what you're talking about. I love coming out of the flashback straight into the punch. The thing that's going to piss off ShyGhost is that when she recorded that fighting Foley, I swapped them.
Did you really?
Yep.
That's bloody ass.
Because the one for Ino, because of course Ino and Sakura are both played by ShyGhost, the one for Ino was too high pitched for Ino and the one for Sakura was too low pitched for Sakura, so I switched them. And I think that's the first time I've ever said that out loud. She's going to be so pissed off. Like, it doesn't make any difference whatsoever.
This also did need a couple of re-records from memory because early on we did have a lot of issues with Sakura and Ino sounding very similar.
Yeah.
Yes, they're both voiced by Shy, I get that.
Yeah.
But that was a problem we had, which is where a lot of the bro lines
and
came from.
And why we led into the, what's going on, bro?
Yeah, that sort of side, because it was a way to help push the differentiation, because they are very similar sounding characters anyway.
Yeah, they're the same fucking character, man.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah.
Not wrong there.
Yeah. Like, they'd marry the same man.
Yeah.
Like, Christ.
Yeah, Sai and Saisuke and Sasuke. Yeah.
Did you just spoil that joke?
No.
Okay.
I've said Saisuke for years.
Oh, you have?
Yes.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Where's Saisuke?
You spoiled the joke.
Yeah, this is tangenting. But I love how we handled this fight because it's the most Ino ever does in part 1.
Yep.
And it was really, really important. That, like, we could have just relegated this to the...
I was just thinking, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, because she's out in Konoha Crush, and then she's not in Search for Sonata, and she's not in Sasuke Retrieval.
Shit. Yeah.
And then she does a bunch of the fillers, but like... It's filler.
It's filler.
I can't wait to talk about that particular song when we get to it, and the trouble we went through with that.
I had a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, you did.
But yeah, it was a lot of work. We got a final version now.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later. Yeah, we'll talk about it in like 10 commentaries or however many it is. But in particular, this fight, I loved being. This was the first proper length hand-to-hand fight we did in the series.
No, it wasn't.
Not like proper, not just like boom, boom, boom. Okay, now I'm kicking your way. Sasuke, use flamethrower.
Yeah.
Sasuke. So this was a lesson in sound affecting those punches, those kicks, those missed strikes. So I learned a lot about it from this, and the only reason that we included Ino still cutting her hair, because it absolutely amounts to nothing narratively, is to explain the change in a character appearance. And that's something we always do, is if a character goes through a significant
physical change,
design change,
we cover it.
Yeah, we cover it, because like that's why we included Sasuke getting that, to explain where the hell he goes, and also because this cursor is visible later with that, and it's not explained.
Yeah.
Ino's hair getting cut, Sakura's hair getting cut.
Yeah, otherwise we could probably skip those scenes.
Yeah, Neji getting skewered, you know, it's... but yeah.
Very true.
Contest. Let's prepare for the next...
Is it Naruto next?
Naruto Uzumaki versus Kiba Inuzuka. Let's begin. Ring the bell.
That was the subscribe bell, by the way. Yes. So, while you're watching, remember to subscribe. And I cut off Moro because I didn't want to depict animal cruelty.
Fair enough.
You can save that for later.
Yeah.
And that was the set, like, Kiba... Kiba's scraping along the ground with nails on a chalkboard.
Nice.
Which is why it's so grating to so many people. But it made so much sense for that kind of sound on that kind of terrain. And we always try and match the type of terrain they're on, or the type of environment they're interacting with the sound mix, because it's something that is so... Most people wouldn't pick up on it consciously.
Yeah.
But if you're walking on grass and it sounds like you're walking on water, you're like, that's not right.
Yeah.
Unless you get a character like Squidward.
Yeah.
Or Sasuke in that thing you showed me. Oh yeah, the SpongeBob.
SpongeBob sounds. Which
has actually inspired me for Sigets.
Yeah.
Because it makes sense.
Yeah.
And Fish Cake Whirlpool is something that we... it
was an idea we eventually abandoned. Where it's going to be Naruto, every time he uses technique, he has a different name for it.
Yeah. But also it was what he was originally going to call...
The Rasengan?
The Rasengan. Because of the Whirlpool. And then we just reappropriated it for Naruto Uzumaki Barrage.
Yep.
That's how long it's been since I thought about it. So yeah, it's farting jutsu though, and Kiba saying this is the most erotic thing I've ever smelled. That got a lot of pushback from impolitebi, that line.
I wasn't a huge fan of it either. I think I voiced that at the time.
If you two, I suppose I was a bit more pig-headed as a director then.
Yeah, you were. 100% so.
Yeah,
dude, the fact that it took me so long to get the Sarada line in there.
Yeah, true.
Whereas nowadays, if I'd suggest that, you were like, yes, done.
Yeah, exactly.
It would be like an instantaneous, like...
I can admit when I grow as a person. But yeah,
I'm perfect, so...
This is the most erotic thing I've ever smelled. Got a lot of pushback, but in my head I was like, well, he's a dog man, and he would communicate with smell, and Naruto's got really nice smelling farts. Saying the justification out loud when I've been thinking it to myself for 3 years at this point, makes no sense.
Yeah.
But that was the idea at the time. Just so we're clear.
Shadow Clone Jutsu!
And I love how Pythonixx says Shadow Clone Jutsu.
Match is over.
I love this scene.
Oh, thanks. What's your name again?
My name?
Kura and I had a main cast at this point, so she's got no lines here.
You're Hinata.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh, it's great to meet you properly, Hinata. I hope we can spend lots of time together in the future.
Thank you for suggesting the shadow drop.
The next match has been announced. Neji Hyuga of the branch house of the Hyuga clan versus Hinata Hyuga of the main house in the Hyuga clan. Screaming and
that was an improv, wasn't it?
Yeah. As I said before, ring the bell.
I think it was an improv suggestion that we came up with. And got like shy. Guess what?
Yeah.
Cousins.
I don't know what that means. And
I like how Naruto doesn't know what cousins are and then perfectly explains what cousins are.
This raises the family. The branch house protects the family.
Core head humor.
Police force and the Uchiha clan.
But if they're cousins...
Also, we faux pas here.
Parents are siblings. So if their fathers are brothers, then does that mean that any siblings Hinata has...
But Naruto raises an excellent point here.
It's best not to think about it. Few things make sense in this world. Least of all Hyuga family politics.
What do we stuff up here?
Dumb.
So it's such a minor thing, but for some reason we treated Lee in that scene only like 10-10.
And just gave him nothing?
Well, Naruto questions it and Lee goes, that, and then he gets cut off and ignored for the rest of the scene.
Yeah.
That's not character, that's not
how we depict Lee.
That's not Lee, that's 10-10.
Yeah.
That's, like, and I don't know why we did that at all. I can't even remember if it was... Yeah, it would have been Lee in the script.
But I think it just flowed better to not include Lee in that scene.
Yeah, but even then, like, I'm sure the recording was only that... Like,
it's not my character.
Yeah, it's not mine either. Yeah, that's weird. Like, I don't like that we did that. And this is that learning thing as well, as we went through and we're trying to learn how we wanted to approach the characters. Because when we locked a script, we moved on to the next script.
Yeah.
So that way, anything that we learned through developing that script, we could then apply to the next one without tampering with that original script. And then when we do pickups, anything we think of ahead of time, we can then retroactively add in. And it helps for a more dynamic production, which I think is much more to our benefit rather than episodes locked, we're only doing one pass, fuck you, see you later, it's uploaded.
Yeah.
I can admit when I'm wrong.
Okay.
You've got an improv up coming up for after this bit with Hinata and Neji. And as I'm still working my way through Black Clover...
You're still not up to that bit.
I'm still not up to the bit that you reference here. But every single time I see two characters who have some kind of history, I'm like, is it this? Is it this? Is it this? And one day, I'm just going to completely skip past it, and you're going to see that I'm past it. And you're going to be like...
If you manage to skip past this, I will be shocked.
Okay.
I actually thought... Because we recorded one of the openings today, and I thought we were doing two.
Yeah.
And because I knew what the second one was, I knew that was covered in it.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought that you had actually skipped it and not mentioned it. And I was going to wait until we were recording and be like, what the fuck, dude? Why did you not mention this?
Dude, I'm not going to lie. Again, completely tangenting. In the lead up to the next reaction video we recorded for Black Clover, I was so tempted to have just read up to date and not say anything. But I can't help but react by sending you screenshots as I read the series.
Yep.
Which I'm sure you get a laugh out of.
Oh yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
You get stuff wrong and I'm like, moron.
This needs more cowbell.
That was an improv as well.
Yeah.
Not the improv I'm talking about, though.
Stay down, Hinata. If you stand, you will...
I love the dynamic between Neji and Hinata that we write. And this scene is this scene here is one of my favorites in the episode.
What?
Yeah.
I said that was down. Stand down, branch boy. Black Clover did this scene way better. Yeah, it's absolutely amazing.
Hinata!
It really is.
Great, now she's dead. Who am I supposed to wife now? Where's Sasuke?
She's not dead, but if she doesn't get medical attention soon, she will be. Also, if you get my cousin pregnant, I will personally 8 trigrams, 64 palm rotate your testicles into dust.
That was the explanation that was written in for why Naruto and Hinata don't start dating until after Neji dies. Because Naruto is scared of Neji.
Yeah. Fair.
Which is a valid concern because he's a scary motherfucker.
Yeah, well look at what Himawari gets up to.
Himawari?
Himawari? His daughter?
Oh, with blocking Naruto's chakra points on the day of the coronation.
Yeah.
The fact that she impacted Kurama.
Yeah.
Which that's nuts.
Oh yeah.
I have a lot of thoughts about that though, so we'll save that for a future entry.
Oh, it's now time for the
Leave versus
Gara
Gaara.
of the Sand versus Rock Lee of the Leaf.
I want to point out, up until this point, Gaara's had no lines.
Yeah. He had a growl.
Yeah, he's like...
the strongest ninja in Ninja Egypt. Once I defeat you, Sakura Haruno
Yeah.
will have to go on a date with me.
I think if we redid this, we would have had Sakura go, oh fuck, in response to the shots going to date with me.
Look, if we ever revisit it, because a lot will have to be recorded if we ever revisit it, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Dropping the weights.
Always a cool scene.
Yeah.
Is he doing what I think he's doing?
Yeah, removing a couple of leg weights.
Tamari's first actual line, I think.
Yeah.
Start of something great.
Plus Ultra Instinct.
Yeah. Because, like, come on.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of thoughts about this fight, but I want to let the fight play out first.
Yeah.
I love that the perfect delivery of yes!
Yeah.
There. Like I said before, if we nailed this fight scene, I knew we'd have no trouble with any fight scene again.
Yeah.
That said, Naruto versus Sasuke at the end of part 1 nearly broke me. I love that we used that Dragon Ball Z punch for huge impact.
It also sounds very Super Smash Brothers as well.
Yeah.
Game!
Gaara's first ever line.
Yeah.
Which was a pickup. It wasn't even scripted.
I've never seen Gaara like this.
Kamakuro's first line, as played by RisingAvenged. And of course implied by Blaze Tamari.
His opponent is doing a lot better than I thought he would.
One thing I'm annoyed about this is that that was Gaara's first scripted line.
Yeah.
I'll come back to it actually. Second thought.
Too slow.
That is the sound of Grant Gustin's Flash from The Flash.
That's the shadow of the
Nice delivery on that. That's the...
Do what I can.
Primary Lotus!
Spiral Twister!
Spiral Twister!
I get it! When did you... It's time for the ultimate taijutsu technique!
He's really going to do it? Really going to do what? He's opening the 8 inner gates. Oh no.
I didn't have any other shot to use for Kakashi there, and I try not to reuse shots when editing. So that's all I had to use there.
And obviously, Dragon Ball Z now.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like, come on, it's 8 gates is so obviously indicative of that.
Yeah. And the Kamehameha.
Yeah. I think that was actually an improv.
Yeah, Kamehameha reverse lips.
Yeah. Also, oh god, it got in my eye when he's got his Sharingan open.
That was also improv.
Yeah, it was.
This match is over. Ring the bell, Hayate.
A lot of thoughts about that fight. I'm really, really annoyed that we cut the shot where Lee's hair says ninja.
The nin. Yeah.
Yeah, that bothers me so much. That is my biggest regret about this whole episode in terms of editing.
Just redo it in the future and just have his head be like, you know, one of those like LED. Just the word ninja just rotating around his head.
I'm going to see if we can do that in Shippuden at some point.
Just like, put them over the highest subscriber is like people doing like the Twitch streams. Just like...
Oh my god. If anyone sees that in a future episode of Shippuden, you know where we got the idea.
That's where it came from.
I want to talk specifically about that fight. So this fight, the fighting folly.
Specifically about it. What?
Okay. The fighting foley for this scene was recorded in February 2020. And about a week before recording this fight, Chris Dowling was in a serious car accident. So, and by right, shouldn't have been on his feet and shouldn't have been recording, and he did, and he's a champion for doing so, and I'll always commend him for doing that. But I learned a lot coming out of, like, he's fine, by the way. He's fine. But I learned a lot about what it means to be a director here, in terms of if that was to happen now, the same thing wouldn't happen. And that was because at the time we were very much episode releases on the 10th of the month. We have to make that release date.
Yeah.
Which was the wrong way to go about it. And I think that's what led to some early burnout in that first year or so.
Yeah.
Especially trying to coordinate recording sessions during lockdown and everything like that.
Oh, yeah.
So I joked earlier about I can admit when I'm wrong, but I can admit when I'm wrong. And
Episode 3, Cosmo admits when he's wrong.
Yeah.
Also the LED.
Yeah. But that whole experience taught me a lot, and if I could go back, obviously it would be very different. So I just wanted to acknowledge that that I fucked up there, and I sincerely apologize to Chris Dowling for that. In a perfect world, that wouldn't have happened, and of course, nothing like that has happened since, thankfully, in terms of car accidents or anything else.
I didn't have to record with my broken arms.
Well, exactly.
Yeah,
No.
I didn't. No, I didn't.
Yeah, no. Like, I don't think I saw you when you had your broken arms at all.
No, I think that was. It wasn't during a lockdown because I wouldn't have broken the arms.
Yeah, exactly. You were playing basketball.
Yeah, I obviously didn't have any. I was that far ahead. That's why.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
I was like a year ahead at that point.
Yeah.
Now I'm the only people behind me is you and Impolite.
And actually, yeah. No, only Impolitebi.
Hey, you did the recording session yesterday.
Yeah, I did a session yesterday. Now we're only 4 episodes behind what we've read.
To be fair, I have all the hard characters.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, tangent. But yeah, I just wanted to acknowledge that I learnt a lot about directing and about content creation in this episode, and it was important that I acknowledge my faults and where I fucked up, and assure anyone watching this that it wouldn't happen again, and that we now, far more than any kind of release deadline or anything like that, we put the health and well-being of our actors at our forefront.
Yes.
Which is absolutely the right way to do it. Always put your talent, cast and crew at the forefront of everything you do. Production cycles, as far as I'm concerned, come second to all that.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to acknowledge that. Cool. Which is really hard to do. Anyway, moving on.
Tamari, Konkoro, Baki,
I think the only time Baki is referred to by name.
No, you can't. Son.
Sakura. Now that preliminaries...
Calls him son.
I have to take...
So Guy calls Lee son, which was kind of like that whole southern thing, like, you know, son, just don't, like that kind of thing, but also to hammer home their relationship, even though it's not
an actual biological relationship.
They're not father and son. It is a father-son relationship that they have that is absolutely beautiful, and it's so important to me to honor that.
Yeah.
Kakashi calls Sakura here.
Yeah, that was a stuff up.
I don't know how neither of us noticed either. But
to be fair, we didn't do the level of passing that we do now.
Yeah.
I think, honestly, this is actually one of the reasons why there are so many passes on episodes now.
Also, when this episode was coming up to release, I was also trying to get ready for my wedding. Yeah. So this episode got a far less attention than other episodes would.
Plus the lead fight was the predominant part of this episode.
That was the first part of the episode we actually edited.
Yeah, but once that was done, that was like everything else was sort of secondary to that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but yeah, this episode has so much behind the scenes stuff.
Take care of some business, which is going to give me less joy than watching a bunch of teenagers try to kill each other. Like Battle Royale.
Another ad-lib for me.
The finals will be a tournament with brackets as outlined below.
Those flaps fucking sucked.
Yeah.
Shout out to Impolitebi for creating these rectangles.
This is nobody.
Because she has a bite.
Damn right I am.
And
Yes, Tamari.
And Deadpool.
Yeah, so obviously drawing the final big around Deadpool, and Dosu is of course making that. And I asked you about that, because I don't know much about Deadpool. It's comparatively to you, especially so. I messaged her, I'm like, hey, would this be a Deadpool thing to do? And you're like, yeah, why? No reason. And then you saw it in the episode, and you're like, okay. And yeah, it was important as well that we make it clear that we're not every character in this is is straight, which is where we threw the Tamari thing in there. Low hanging fruit, mine, in terms of the wording of the joke, but and then of course the big
tournament, meaning only one person gets the upgrade.
Yes.
What a drag.
Which is exactly what happens.
It's not actually what happens, but it's how it worked out.
Yeah.
Because everyone else was either too reckless in their fights, or the fight's got abandoned.
Yeah.
So Shikamaru's... Granted, Tamari probably should have gotten it as well.
Yeah, she should have.
Because she was, like, biding her time, playing it carefully, and all stuff.
Yeah.
So I think both Tamari and Shikamaru should have gotten Chuunin out of that Chuunin exam.
But of course only one character in Konoha got it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was let me see if I can remember how to do this time. Hey! That was episode 3.
It was.
The Chuunin Exam Preliminaries Abridged. This was a hell of an episode. It was a hard episode to get the balance right, because especially when we were depicting so many fights and so many individual fights. So in one aspect, it was really, really positive in terms of being able to focus on, okay, so we've got Ino versus Sakura, so we can focus on this. And then we can focus on Naruto versus Kiba, and then Hinata versus Neji, and then Lee versus Gaara. In these kind of editing pockets, almost. So it was a lot easier to focus. If I was saying ShyGhost, for example, it's like, okay, cool, so we've got Ino and Sakura over here. We've also got Hinata, but then you're done. This episode was also the first episode where we really did fighting Foley.
Yeah.
Because we knew, particularly with Lee versus Gaara, but also the other fights, Naruto versus Kiba, etc., that if we didn't give each fight the same level of attention and detail, if just one of them fell down and didn't have that gravitas to it, it'd be pointless. Like, why do it? Why include the fight? Just throw it into the montage where Sakura says nothing important happened.
Yeah.
Because all those fights don't matter.
No, none of them matter, because, like, Tamari Tenten was skipped in the manga.
Yep. And we write according to the manga, by the way. We don't watch the anime, we write to the manga.
Yeah. Tamari and Tenten was skipped.
Yep.
Like, that got completely off screen. Shino doesn't get a fight in the finals, so what's the point?
Yeah, exactly.
Dosu is killed before the finals, spoiler. So what's the point?
Yeah.
And which other one do we skip over?
Kankuro versus the other...
Yeah.
The other sound Genin.
Yeah, it's just like boring.
Yeah. And also...
No, Kankuro didn't fight the other sound Genin.
Didn't he?
He fought the other member of Kabuto's group.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
He was the rubber guy.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
The rubber man who nowadays I just get you to play Luffy.
Yeah. I just do Luffy for that.
I'd probably even throw a straw hat
on him. But yeah, like that fight is relevant because Kankuro forfeits.
Yeah.
And then Shino versus Kankuro is also off screen.
Yeah.
So it's like...
Oh, Shino versus Zaku, I think you mean.
No.
Oh, you mean
Shino versus Kankuro during
yeah. Sorry, during Gunner Hug Rush. My bad. Yep.
No, Shino versus Zaku. Zaku?
Yeah. Zaku Abumi. Yeah, that happened in the manga.
It happened in the manga because it was
the arms.
The clogging up his valves with chakra things, so he ends up blowing out his arms.
That's fucking gnarly.
What a way to go.
Right? And then him and Kin, of course, die, and then he used for Edo Tensei later.
Was Dosu the third corpse? He had to be the third corpse.
Or maybe, because he was killed by Gaara, but we don't know how much of his corpse was left.
Yeah.
So,
Look, the fact that when Lee's beaten, his arms and legs internally are destroyed, but they're fine otherwise. They're still there.
The third corpse that would have been used for Minato may have also been Hayate. Because he was killed by Baki and Kabuto. So the third...
But is Hayate brought back for the war?
Yes.
Then it probably wasn't him. Because the sound again are not brought back for the war.
True. But Hayate was only brought back in the war in filler.
Ah. Okay.
Yeah. Which is a rare filler scene we'll be including.
Oh yeah. I'm going to bring it back.
Yeah, well, got to give you a chance to voice at least once and ship it.
True.
Yeah, so so this concludes episode 2 in the script as well. So the idea of splitting the episodes, splitting 2 into 2 and 3 really it fucked up our internal numbering system for production.
Yes.
Made it a hell of a nightmare to keep straight in my head about what I was talking about, let alone anyone else in the cast or crew.
Yeah.
But it proved that splitting episodes, if done right, like we do with this episode, like we do with episode 4 and 5, but I'll talk more about 5's nightmare when we get to it. And
5 was the worst for that.
5, yeah, I'll talk more about that when we get to it. And also 7 and 8 as well will also split, but more about them when we get to it. But do you have any other thoughts about episode 3, about how it came together or anything like that?
No, nothing else. I think, yeah, this is definitely a point in time where you were a lot more hard-headed with what was going in.
Yeah.
So the ad-libs here have been purely ad-libs that were done during recording sessions.
Yep.
Like, it was very one and done for almost everything, unless there was like the Sakura thing that had to get re-recorded because it was too close initially. And that was because those 2 voices were done in 2 separate sessions.
Yeah.
I think from memory, Shy did all of her Sakura for all of Naruto in her first session. And that was her first session. She did the same thing that I did with Kakashi.
I think you're right, because I think at the time what we were trying to do, and Chris Dowling did the same with all of his characters, it was like a 9-hour session. We talked about it in his interview. A 9-hour session, he recorded everything for every character. In that one session. And I think the idea at the time is that people would only need to do 1 or 2 sessions, and then they wouldn't need to record again until we got to ship it and until we got to 02.
Yeah.
And so on.
Yeah, but that's why there was a lot of re-records for Ino, because it was a case of did all of Sakura, then did all of Ino at another point in time, because that's why it wasn't picked up during recording. It was only picked up during the editing stage.
Yeah.
That there was such a similarity.
Yeah.
I think that we thought that there was a lot more differentiation than what there was. That's the only thing that makes sense. There's no way they could have been recorded at the same time.
I think
because
it
would have been picked up during the recording.
Or they may have been recorded at the same time, but I just didn't notice.
I don't think so. I don't think the 2 of you would have both missed it, and Pythonixx would have probably been there at the time.
I don't think he was in the room at the time. I think it was probably downstairs.
The only other way I could see it would be all of Sakura was recorded, all of Hinata was recorded, then Ino was recorded.
I think that's
there
what
would have
we
had to have
did,
been. There would have have to be something to break it up.
Yeah.
But I feel it was 2 sessions.
Here's something that not many people would know, actually, speaking of Ino and Sakura. Originally, impolitebi auditioned for Sakura. And then ShyGhost submitted a fucking excellent audition, and the rest is history. But that's another reason why ShyGhost voices both Sakura and Ino, because she was originally cast as Ino, and then got Sakura at a later point.
It also doesn't help that we only had 2 girls at the start. Let's be honest. That did come into that came in as a factor that we had to deal with.
Yes, that's very true. But the rest of us could have also played female presenting characters. We all could have done the Taya
woman voice.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
I didn't even know Yuki had a beaver. That whole thing.
Yeah, absolutely we could have. But yeah, that when at the time when it was setting it up, it was I voiced Shizune.
Oh yeah, and I played Anko. Hey, you'll find the true meaning of fear.
It's not that it stopped us, but that was a big factor at the time, was because majority of female roles would automatically default because the girls happen to be able to do better girl voices than the guys. Shockingly.
And then obviously since then we've had more AFABs join.
We've got at least 2 more.
Yeah, we've got impolitebi, ShyGhost, Demi-Star Cosplay, and Cheese Pizza 13.
Yeah.
I completely blanked on what her screen name was. I know her actual name. I'm seeing her on Tuesday. But completely blanked on her screen name. What do you think about the way we structured the fights? Because I know that the fights themselves are so important to get right.
I think they were fine. I think they were done well. I've got nothing really to add on that.
That said, you would have also turned around and said, dude, what the fuck? If the fights were fucked.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. Yeah, if you done a shit job, I would have told you about it.
Yeah.
There's like a couple of small dialogue changes. I've gotten this thing in my head, and I'll probably say it off once we finish recording, just because it's a weird idea, and it might be something we can use in the future.
Oh, like
more so than that.
FYI, I'm gonna try and make that happen at some stage. I'm going to try.
I have an idea, but it's one of those things that I feel that the scrolling text on his head is going to be a hell of a lot easier.
Okay. Yeah, we'll talk about it off screen.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, I don't have anything else to add. You don't have anything else. So that was episode 4. We will be back next time with the Chuunin Exam Finals Abridged, which covers, of course, the Chuunin Exam Finals, leading into Konoha Crush. Hope you enjoyed it. If you know what you do, you do the thing.
Bye.